onwards as well.
I am myself. That's what I'm trying to sell at the minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, go on, Margaret, tell us who you are. So you're Margaret Wells. Yeah.
Yeah, I am Margaret Wells, and I live not far from the Reno. I live in Chorlton, and I've been doing archaeology as a volunteer for quite a few years now, probably about 12 years.
Wow.
Started doing it because I always liked archaeology, and then I just happened to hear about a community project when I was volunteering in Manchester Museum, actually. And then I got involved with some local archaeology. And really, I've never looked back. I've learned a lot doing it. I've met a load of fantastic people, and I love digging.
You love just the digging?
Well, I love the digging. I do like that. I like that physical work. I do.
Yeah.
But it's more about what you're digging up. You're digging up a history and connections with the past and people from the past.
Tell me the best thing you've ever dug up.
People always ask that.
Go on. It just occurred to me then.
I know, but that's impossible because so many different things are interesting for so many different reasons.
What's the most valuable thing you've ever dug
Again, I don't know what that means in a way. I've not found any gold, if that's what I mean. But things are of value not to do with their physical, monetary value. They're more of value because they tell you more about people, don't they, over time. So I've dug an old mansion, let's say one in Salford, and we were digging what turned out to be a rubbish pile in the ground. So people used to have a mid and they used to throw all their rubbish. Some of it would go in the fire and then in this heap of rubbish, or it would just be thrown in a rubbish heap. So in this rubbish heap, we were pulling out whole pots, complete pots and their lids. You know, they weren't even broken. Now that tells you that the people who threw them away had plenty of money. Yeah. They didn't need to keep them and reuse them.
Yeah.
They just threw them away and bought another one.
What century are we talking?
We're talking sort of Victorian stuff, so 19th century.
Yeah.
Really. And then, you know, and you dig another place and there's not a lot there. There's poor people's housing, workers' housing. You might find a few bottles in a cellar or something, but quite often the people were living in that cellar as a room, as a place anyway. So there's not much left because they didn't have much anyway.
Yeah.
But remnants of people's lives, really. That's what's interesting, isn't it, about you digging up history in the past. And I've dug ancient things.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. Go on, what's the most ancient thing you've dug?
I suppose things like flints, you know, Mesolithic flints, which are from several thousand years ago. Some of them little tiny things. I've dug recently at a site in Merseyside near where I was brought up, a place where I used to walk and cycle when I was a kid. Yeah. And the last few years have been exposing an area where there was a settlement of people maybe 5,000 to 7,000 years ago.
Near in Liverpool?
Yeah, north of Liverpool in Merseyside, down near the coast really. Towards the coast. Inland, but towards the coast. But I'm near a river, so there was water and whatever nearby. But it's a place that floods every winter. But they've been digging it in every summer for the last few years, and you know, you can go along there and you have to do very careful work, and you find tiny bits of flint and worked flint. So people several thousand years ago made tools there out of flint. They brought flint from far away because there isn't any locally.
So where's the nearest flint? From Wales?
I think it's probably is Wales, actually. Yeah. But so that just, you know, it tells you that people could make amazing things in those times. People think about, it's 5,000 years ago. What skills did they have? They had amazing skills. They could make tools out of stone. Yeah. To do all sorts of things with.
Did you find bones and stuff from food, you know, animals?
Yeah, well, not there, but I have seen, let's just think. Yeah, I think we've seen, but it depends on the preservation, depends where things are. You know, there's some of the geology means that things like bones just totally rot away. But whereas ceramics will remain to a certain degree. But, you know, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but I've dug up at Castleshaw above Oldham, which is a Roman fort
Yeah, I've
site.
heard about it.
Yeah. And so you do find little bits of pottery there, but it's not very well preserved because I suppose the soil is acid and it rots it away. So, whereas in other places it's very well preserved. I've dug in down by the River Trent in Nottinghamshire, and it's all sandy and there's just pottery everywhere. It's very well preserved. So, it's a bit of luck, isn't there, involved in what the geology is where you're digging as to what is preserved.
So
more recent digs though.
Yeah,
the Reno's obviously much more recent history, so that has a whole different attraction because you can go and dig there, and it turns out here you can dig with people who used to go there and remember it, and that is really interesting. It is, it's social history, isn't it? It's people's culture.
Have you done that before?
Have to pause a minute. Yeah, so I have dug in areas that are, say, Victorian history, which is not that far away if you think people's grandparents or great-grandparents were alive then, and people might come by and say, oh yeah, my gran used to come here. You know, we did dig at the barracks site in Hume, from where cavalry came to the Peterloo massacre, which is immense social history and for Manchester very important. But so people could remember the remains of the building, but they weren't alive in 1719. 1819, sorry. When that happened. So the Reno dig is much more recent because, you know, I came here to do a dig, but I met the people who used to be in the place and it's their place. Yes, there's a whole other element to this dig. You know, I came because I'm interested in archaeology, and I didn't really know much of the background of this dig. I thought it'd be interesting though, because it's quite recent, and I knew you, Linda, from meeting you up at another dig a couple of years ago. And I suppose I was a bit amazed to see all these people from the local community coming in to dig. So they weren't there for the archaeology so much, which is why I was originally there. They were finding their place, weren't you? You were finding your place, your history, and something that is really meaningful to you. It's important, isn't it?
How did that feel to you as an outsider?
Well, I didn't feel massively unconnected because I suppose it's not a place I went in. But I remember it being there, and I remember being outside once when some friends popped in.
Go on.
You know, and they went in to buy some weed actually, and when I spoke to them more recently, told them I was doing the dig. And they said, oh, so-and-so went in to buy some weed, and what they got, it wasn't weed. And the amazing thing, can I tell you that? The amazing thing was that somebody at the dig was saying they used to sell this weed to students, and they used to chop it up with other stuff because they were students and they didn't know any better. And I think that connection is great because it could have been the same event, you know, from all those years ago. So anyway, so I knew of the Reno. You know, and I also in the 70s, the late 70s, I was massively into reggae music. And I used to go to other black clubs, I suppose, in the area, or places where all of us went. At the time of reggae and punk. I used to go down to the PSB. And the Internationals. I used to go to those places and other places in town, rafters and things, to watch reggae do's. And I love reggae music and all that Caribbean stuff that I like. But so I was right into that. And soul music as well. I liked all that stuff. And I have, you know, visions of this going on down in the Reno, all the music. And I love music. Music is a heartfelt thing, isn't it?
No,
and
absolutely.
It connects you with people and you... So anyway, so I suppose I might have felt slightly a bit of an outsider there, but I was there with other friends in archaeology. You know, so I had people to talk to initially. I'm maybe a bit shy of some people that I don't know, but I did know some people there, so that made it okay. And then you're all stuck in together, digging in a hole, getting filthy, finding things.
Yeah.
You just become part of this group anyway.
Yeah.
You know, people were really welcoming, you know, of me as an archaeologist who could help with things and had maybe a bit of experience in that way. And I loved that vibe that went on in there of people digging like crazy.
What about talking like crazy?
Yeah, talking like crazy, shouting, singing.
Yeah.
And there was a thing that happened, you know, when we found the bit of the dance floor and the bit of the floor of the actual Reno, people started dancing in it. And they were just there, and they were right back there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fantastic. I loved it. And I loved people finding these bits and pieces. Now, archaeology, you always find interesting things and things that are personal.
Yeah.
You know, there's makeup. We're talking about makeup, finding makeup and perfume. And it does take you back. You can see people getting ready.
Yeah.
You know, they found the record bag, and Triggs was just dancing with it.
Yeah.
It meant so much. A little thing like that, but a big thing at the same time.
But we've got makeup in common though as well. Did you remember any of the makeup makes when you seen them?
Yeah, I think I probably did. I can't remember now. I remembered some perfume, which was a bottle. We were trying to identify what it was.
Yeah. Cachet. Was it
Cachet? It wasn't Cachet. Yeah. No, it was something else. But yeah. I went home and started looking them all up. Perfume of the 70s, trying to find that bottle. Yeah. And I couldn't tell which bottle it was because there were some similar ones. But I remembered having them. I remembered, you know, as a, I don't know, 15-year-old, 16-year-old buying.
I remember the shape of the shape of that perfume was dead typical of its day.
Yeah.
You used to just buy them in the chemist then, didn't you?
Yeah, you did. And or somebody, you did. You bought them in the chemist, and it wasn't expensive.
No,
stuff.
It was
eau de toilette. Wasn't it? So it was not proper perfume.
Yeah.
But we all had that, yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. You wouldn't, like, it's 60 quid a bottle now. You wouldn't have dreamt to that then, would you?
Oh, no.
It'd be like 6 quid, max. £2 something, actually.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
And makeup, I don't know, Rimmel.
Yeah.
And Miss something or other. Can't remember now, yeah.
Yeah.
Familiar, yeah, those things were a bit familiar. So there's a shared history in just that, what we all did.
You know,
as
exactly.
Kids, what we all did.
Yeah. What did you learn?
What did I learn? Well, one thing I learned was about community archaeology. You know, I've done lots of community archaeology where we're trying to engage the local community in the archaeology. What I learned from this dig was that this dig the archaeology came out of a project. You know, the project came first and the archaeology was part of it. So it already had engaged a load of people in looking for a place of their history, one of their places.
Yeah.
An important place that people could remember. It's within that time of the memory, and the people were still there. Yeah, sorry, this is...
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
How does it normally work then, Margaret?
Right, so normally, for example, we did a big project which Soft Archaeology did, and I've worked with them on a lot of these digs. It's called Dig Greater Manchester, where each of the boroughs of Greater Manchester had a dig. It was funded by local authorities, and then you put out some information local to the area, and people would visit schools and things and say, we're doing a dig, come and get involved. And the amount of people who got involved from the local area would vary. And sometimes you'd think, was it not advertised that well, or were people not that interested? So maybe people are not as interested in older things, or they didn't have a particular connection. But now the Reno, people had a massive connection with it already, and they had this interest in finding their place. Yeah. So the archaeology was sort of secondary to that. It was a method of doing that, of uncovering the history and reconnecting with the past, but recent past in their memory. So that taught me, if you want to get people engaged in archaeology, do something that means a lot to them. They've got to be invested in what it is you're looking for. It's got to be meaningful to them. That's quite a lesson, actually.
It is.
And that can inform further archaeological projects, really. So that was a good lesson, yeah.
You know, if it was you in particular, like if say like you was a community, what would we dig up that would be of great importance to Margaret?
Golly. Oh, I don't know, because I suppose I'd go back to, I don't know, I suppose I'd go back to my childhood somewhere, but my childhood wasn't in this area, it was north of Liverpool.
So what's gone that you'd like to see again? Well, yeah.
I suppose there are buildings, so like my old grammar school was blitzed and they built houses on it. It'd be quite interesting to go back there and revisit the school. I don't imagine there's much left.
Yeah.
Formative years for me, I suppose.
Yeah.
And also in Maghull, where I was brought up, was quite a small town. It's quite a big town now. And there were some old buildings. I can remember old buildings that were really interesting that are no longer there. I'd like to go and dig up.
And could you imagine that? Because it's the emotional investment though, innit? The Reno had an emotional investment in it.
I don't think I've got a place quite like that though, from my youth. Because a lot of I went to uni in Salford, so I spent a lot of time in there, going to gigs and going down the bar and all that sort of thing. But they're all still there, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I don't have to go digging to find them.
Did you know the bull rings? In Hume. Okay.
Bull rings?
Yeah, the crescents.
I know them as the crescents.
Yeah, William Kent. Because there's a lot
of them when I knew them though. They'd been housing and they were let to students later. John Nash Crescent.
Yeah, and all, and William Kent and
because I worked for Manchester Housing when they were probably being demolished, actually, possibly. When were they demolished?
I've no idea. Is it the late 80s?
Well, if it was, then I was definitely in Manchester Housing then. I think I remember them being demolished. And because they were trying to rehouse people out of them. And they were full of cockroaches.
I was just thinking that that's one place that I could think that would evoke a lot of emotion as well in people. Like to want to see it again, even though there might even be, like you said, cockroaches, negative emotions. Yeah,
there's places that I can remember going to in the early 70s. We used to go to a youth club in Lydiate up the road and, dance the night away then when we were in our mid-teens. That would be a place for me to go back to where I met boys and all that sort of stuff, first boyfriend, that sort of thing. That would be a good place to go.
But that's a similar thing to us in the Reno, isn't it?
It is,
like a moments in
time, but they're quite long because that went on for quite a few years, didn't it, for you?
Yeah.
That was a great experience seeing people's joy in discovering things.
Was it?
It was. You could see what it meant to people, and they just expressed their joy. A lot of shouting and laughing and singing and dancing and
hugging each other.
Definitely. Yeah. It was lovely. It was lovely.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing like the food. People at lunchtime. I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. There were a few people who brought lovely homemade food for everybody, and that is something that I like. Is people sharing food. It means something. It does bring people together. Yeah. It does it to share food with people. It's quite an important human thing for me, that.
And communal. Besides community, it's communal. Yeah, communal thing. And going back to the flints, it kind of puts you in mind of them, doesn't it? Like making their flints to.
Yeah, making flints, but because making flints and finding flints is an interesting thing because I wonder about how that worked in their society. You find some amazing objects, right? Old objects made of flint and stone, hand axes and things like that, and you think it took a lot of skill to make that. And there are not so many of those. But then you find hundreds and hundreds of little flint scrapers. So you think, that probably didn't take as much skill, and I've done flint napping myself and I've made scrapers, and it's not that difficult to learn. So in that society, was there a few people who could make the really special stuff, and did everybody else have the skill to make the stuff that everybody used?
That's what I'm thinking as you're talking. It probably very much worked like ours, that you kind of went and bought an axe head with bartered or whatever was their system. Because any skill you've got to learn.
Yeah.
Haven't you? It's not natural to anybody.
And it takes a long time to learn to be that good, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't take so long. And maybe, what people were making those things, were they men, were they women, were they kids? Could most of the community make a little scraper to scrape their hides?
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It tells you something, or it asks you, if you like, about the society. It raises questions for you to think about.
So off that...
Archaeology does that.
Yeah, off that then, what in the Reno made you... Because it's a bit soon yet, actually, but is there anything that kind of like made you ask a big question that happened on the Reno site? Because that's a big question you're asking there, isn't it, about the Clint makers?
Yeah,
that
is a big question.
Like, how did their society function? Did anything you witnessed on our dig make you think, I wonder?
I'll tell you what was interesting. People talking about an alleyway at the back where everybody ran out when the police raided. And that took me back to things that were going on back in the day, back in the 70s, probably the early 80s.
Yeah.
About how the community fitted into the wider community.
Yeah.
How the police and the community interacted, what was going on there.
Absolutely.
And was that a safe place to be? I don't know. I've looked at the website, I've seen some of the interviews and heard people talking about it, and I heard people talking on site about it a lot, about, there were problems with the police and the black and mixed race communities at the time. That does make you question a lot of what was going on.
What does it make you question? Get more specific, Margaret.
Why was that disconnect between people, between a community of originally immigrants and a community of mainly white people? Why there was a suspicion? Yeah. Why were the police constantly arresting black youth? Everybody knew about the sus things. And, people being constantly arrested. And there was a high proportion of black, mainly, I suppose, young people being arrested on suspicion of. Yeah. On suspicion of what? Why are they more suspect than other people? What does that say about society?
It's massive.
Because, I live in Chorlton now, and there's a very mixed community, and the community all get on great. And we're probably a generation or two down the line, aren't we?
Yeah.
From there. So maybe that's, in some way, that's healed. I don't think it has totally healed by any means, though. But I'm a white person, aren't I? I haven't had to deal with that. I haven't been on that end of it.
Yeah.
So it does make me think a lot about that and what life was like for people at the time. People in those communities. There again, those communities were mixed, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
There were people from Ireland, weren't they? Immigrants from Ireland, immigrants from the Caribbean, from Africa.
But there was also no blacks, no Irish, no dogs.
Yeah, in people. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So here you've got a society in, I suppose, the 50s, who were originally the British Empire that was changing, and they needed some people to do some jobs. So they put a call out for people to come to work and to help the local community here. And people came. And I know they came and they found signs saying no blacks, no dogs. How can you put them together?
Yeah.
That's just not okay.
Yeah.
People were coming to do something, coming to work in this community, in this society. And to get a reaction like that must have been horrible. I cannot imagine what that was like. It's just not okay.
I don't mean to put you on the spot though, But how old are you then? You're a teenager.
I'm 62. I was born in 1955.
Okay, so you're not. So when them signs are out, you're just a baby.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't feel okay about that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Because I don't think any people should treat other people like that at all. It's just not a reasonable thing to do. And that's not, nobody should treat anybody like that. But you cannot discriminate against part of society.
Yeah.
Mainly, I'm sure, from a position of ignorance, let's say.
Has digging up the Reno made you think more about that, or did you think about that anyway?
I've thought about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I'm aware of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've worked in housing, social housing and things like that, and I've been aware of those issues in society. But digging up the Reno, and I went and looked at the website, and and I looked at some interviews, and I heard what people were saying. I heard your interview, and that moved me actually. Talking about not just you, but people talking about there was a place where you could be yourselves, a mixed race person.
Yeah.
And it made me think about, why were you not welcome in other places? Why not? I don't know.
It's all a bit confused for me at the minute. But I remember, I need longer time, a way to think. But I remember being shocked about how much we've actually lived under that we didn't question till we started digging it up, that it was normal. Like, lads would get arrested, Margaret, right, and get hung out of the police station window after being leathered. Do you know what I mean? But to us, everything's normal. It's like me making you a cup of tea. It's just part of our life. If they came back when I was, say, 15, 16 and told that story, it'd be kind of funny. Do you know, like in a mark of honour, that this has actually happened to them. And it's incredible. It's incredible now that any lad would come back from anywhere, right, and just come back and say, the police, they battered me, beat me fingers with the telephone directory, dropped the phone on my head and hung me out the window. Somebody now, I presume, would go to some other authority and say, this has just happened. Yeah, do you know what I mean? What are you going to do? But it wouldn't even be in our vocabulary to think we're going to report that person. And it's stupid as I'm saying it now, I'm realising it. In a mad way, it kind of is just part of what we accepted and therefore must deserve. Yeah. If you really think about what I'm saying.
No, I do think about what you're saying, because that must make you feel. You just said what you deserve.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing to say, that you felt that's your due. That's what you get.
Yeah, that's. It's exaggerated what I'm saying and a bit simplistic.
Yeah, I know.
But it becomes part of your journey in life, doesn't it? Like, I remember I'm talking a lot for an interview, but I remember doing the outreach tea party in the cafe and spending £150 on cakes because I wanted us to feel like we deserve this quality of cake. Do you know, to begin that journey to think about deserving other things.
Yeah, so what does that do to people's sort of self-confidence and their self-respect?
Yeah.
Yeah,
those are enormous things, aren't they?
It's an indictment of what was happening in society
at the time.
It really is.
Absolutely.
It is, and you look across the pond and you see what is still going on in America.
Yeah.
That sort of thing's still going on.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing too badly with it, actually.
No, I think maybe, well, that's for you to say, frankly.
Yeah.
It's moved on and it's better, is it? People are more
Well, I
aware.
don't know in general. But the fact that I could get the money to do this project says a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that I've got the capability through the journey through the arts to get this and to know how to write the proposals and all that says a lot.
Yeah.
That is an answer in some respects. Yeah.
It just doesn't make me think. Yeah. It makes me feel ashamed, if I'm honest. about those things, because that's, obviously I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, but part of my society did that, part of my community did that. I think that's an interesting one though, isn't it? Because should you bear the shame of your ancestors' actions?
I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer to that, but you should be aware of them and think about how people should behave towards each other, generally in life.
This is a bit of a set-up.
Very deep, this is.
No, it's fine. It's wonderful. I love it. Right, here's a bit of a set-up question. I'm setting you up a little bit here, and I've forgotten what the bloody thing was. Yeah, I've completely forgotten what it was.
Okay, well, it might come back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, normally our paths wouldn't cross, apart from Collier's community, and your path certainly wouldn't have crossed with Fonzo Buller, or, some of the more louder. Right, and it might be a bloody stupid question, and I feel a bit vulnerable asking it, but how, has that changed your perception of us? It's a proper set-up question. Well, mixed race, working class, loud, uneducated on the whole, to, certain degrees. Do you know what I mean?
I don't.
We're talking about the divide in society, and go on.
Don't know that. Well, I don't know how to answer that really, because I already know mixed race people.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't sort of see them as other or different do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do
you know other mixed race criminals?
Depends what you mean by criminal.
Out and out criminals who've been to prison, been to detention centre, been...
Probably not.
Yeah.
I've come across some, but they're not in my friend group.
That's all I'm talking about, really.
Yeah.
That's all I'm talking about.
No, I don't think I know people who've been to prison. I know some people who've done some things.
Yeah.
But not people who've been to prison.
All I'm saying, to cut to the chase, is that in normal life, in life without archaeology and digging up the Reno, we would not be in each other's circles, and the people that's in the Reno would not. And we, just as much, I wouldn't be at your dinner party or your party or in your house. And just say now, the fact that we've mixed, all of us, not just me and you. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's that done? Has it done anything? Nothing?
Well, it's good. I like it. It's warm. It's a sharing thing. That dig was a sharing thing, and I felt welcomed.
Oh.
I did. I felt welcomed into a place that wasn't mine originally. Do you know what I mean? That was very much this thing that it's this community's place, because it was so much part of their lives of this group of people, from some decades ago. And it wasn't part of my life then, but it is now.
Oh,
it is now, because I did the archaeology, but I met all these great people. I shared in their enjoyment of what they were doing, and I observed what it meant to people, and I could feel what it meant to people. And we were a group of people, all of us doing that thing.
Yeah.
We were all doing it together.
Yeah.
And I have felt welcomed there. I've shared food with people, and I said before, sharing food is quite a big thing. It's a thing that humans do with each other.
And
it's a positive thing.
What you particularly did great, which I loved, was the clean up at the end. I remember
that was important to me.
No, but that was important for it to look. I always wanted everything to look gorgeous, as part of this thing about we deserve more and as much. Yeah. And that you put in all that effort to make it look
that had to
clean,
be done. That had
like
to be
it
done,
did.
Because after all that work that everybody did, I know I did dig out some rubbish.
Yeah.
I know I did that, and actually I wasn't at my best physically at that time because I had a shoulder injury, so I didn't do as much physical digging as I would normally do actually, but I knew I could clean. I know I'm good at that. It's a little contribution I can make to something that's big, and it's after all that work, we had to make it look as good as it could look, and that was so important. It was about, you know, it was honouring that work. It was, because all that work had been done.
But it looked beautiful, Margaret. I remember going to the cabin. Yeah.
And you did tell me that at the time, and that made me feel good.
Yeah.
And I was really chuffed with that, and I was pleased that we all did that good job. Lots of people did that.
Yeah.
Not just me, and it.
No, but you and Alcina did this like finishing touch. That just like it was just
we
like
that.
Yeah, but it's just like, oh, look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody walked on it, and I told him off.
See,
I told him off, and he turned around at the end and he said, "I've just had a bollocking for doing that." And I said, "You'll get another one if you do it again." But that was all part of the banter.
Yeah,
it was the banter.
Yeah,
but that was about you're putting in that work to make it look good at the end. Oh, and it did look good.
Oh, it did look good. It looked like Rome or Greece. It looked beautiful.
Yeah, it's good. It was good archaeology as well. It wasn't just all that. All the big thing is the community thing and about it being the Reno. But, but the archaeology was good as well.
Yeah.
I was sorry I couldn't come to the all-nighter.
Was you?
Oh yeah. I really regret that I didn't cancel everything and go now.
Oh,
honestly, I do.
Yeah.
Because that would have just sort of tied it all up.
Yeah.
Although I did go to the Whitworth.
Oh, you were great in the Whitworth. Me and you getting down to Prince's girlfriend.
The Whitworth.
Yeah.
Great. And that was good. And that was special, you know. I thought that was great being in there. That is a big cultural centre of Manchester.
Yeah.
And it is about the people of Manchester. And these are the people of Manchester taking it over and making it theirs. That's what a place like that should do.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's about trust, isn't it, as well? Because there's a lot of that's what I was going on about before. There's a lack of trust because we don't know each other, isn't we? We don't trust you lot. You don't trust us. Because remember about the Whitworth, it was a bit like, they're going to be drinking. They're going to be listening. Will they just go raving crazy?
Because they have openings all the time now where people drink.
Yeah, but you know
this
what
was a
I'm
bit
saying.
Of a different thing.
Yeah. It's a party. Yeah. And they was really relieved, but they loved it. They loved the vibe, you know, as well.
Yeah, because it was good.
You know, it was great.
Good. And it was a coming together of all sorts of different people as
well. All sorts of different people, though. Yeah. Not just us. Like, I was shocked at the different types of people that came.
To the Whitworth?
Yeah.
Well, there are some people who come to all the Jews at the Whitworth.
Yeah.
Because they're interested in art, culture, all that stuff. Yeah. You know, so they'll come. So there were more people than there was sort of part of the dig itself.
No, exactly. There was this other layer, you know, that I didn't recognise as well. Yeah. And I remember in Margaret, you know, like the display things and how fabulous the artefacts looked in
the finds,
But then that they were looking at it like it was like mummies. You know, they were really looking at it.
They're still artefacts.
You know, exactly.
They might be from 1978, but it doesn't matter. They're still artefacts, and that's how they should be. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh. Museums are not just full of old things, and galleries are definitely not just full of old things, are they?
I don't know.
No, because the Whitworth has modern art in there, doesn't it? Installations.
No, actually, of course it does. It has like fairly recent wallpaper designs as well, doesn't it? You know, from 70s and 50s and things.
Yeah, I think 50s stuff I've seen in there. Because that was a certain style, wasn't it? But everything, you know, all these bits of history are important, not just the older stuff.
Yeah.
More recent stuff is also important, isn't it? And in ways, it's a way for people to connect in because it's in their memory still.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like loads of time though, isn't it? You know, like if you see a Formica kitchen cabinet from the 50s, it is literally decades ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not...
Yeah, my mum's still got a Formica top kitchen table from the 50s.
Yeah.
Perfectly good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you, Bob, now.
Made to last.
Yeah.
Made to last.
So what worked then? In your opinion, what worked?
Oh. Well, I don't know what didn't work, really.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the difficulties, do I? You know, because I'm not involved in the organising and things. So
yeah, but you were still there. You could have thought, oh, why did the bitch do that? Or, do you know, whatever.
I don't really remember seeing... Yeah, it all seemed to work pretty well to me.
Yeah.
I think.
That's Sarah, though, as well. Me and her and Adam did immense amounts of planning.
Right, so Sarah, I've worked with Sarah for years. She's a great archaeologist. She's really good with people as well. And she's a good
really
organiser.
Good at being calm.
Yeah, she is. She's really good at being calm. I'm not generally good at being calm, but you know, I didn't feel agitated down there. You know, it felt like it ran okay. I suppose I was a bit fearful of how it was going to be.
Go on.
Because I've done archaeology for years. You know, I know the processes, how it works and things, health and safety and all that sort of stuff. You know, so there were times early when I first came down the dig and I saw people walking on the spoil heaps and clambering around. You know, when the walls were first exposed and people were clambering around on them because they were so excited.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh my God, you know, what's going to happen? Is it going to be okay? You know, and I've just cleaned this bit. Somebody's just walked on it. Hang on a minute. You know.
Yeah.
You know. And actually, because I was looking at that from my experience, if you like, and from the archaeological point of view, and I had to relax. You know, it took me a couple of days.
Yeah, I can imagine.
To relax and think, actually, it's going okay. Nothing terrible is happening.
Yeah.
You know, the archaeology is being done. People are learning as they go how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, they're not doing anything too dangerous.
Yeah.
I think I had fears about that at the beginning, and I talked to Sarah and other people about, is that going to be okay? What about this? And what
was Sarah saying?
Sarah said, yeah, I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
so
that's Sarah.
A lot of eyes.
Yeah, that's Sarah. Yeah, with eyes everywhere.
Well.
Yeah,
eyes everywhere. And she did have an eye on things. If anything looked a bit dangerous,
she did.
She said so, and it was sorted.
She did, which was quite brave of her at times.
Oh, she's good.
She'd be quite calm and walk in and go, "Can you please not do that?" And I think, "Go on."
Yeah. That was. And you were down there as well. You were in there.
Yeah, but she was really juggling a lot of pots, wasn't she?
Yeah,
and she was really
and her sensitivities as well, I think.
And she was really being brave as well, because she must have had them fears that you're saying. Yeah. But to kind of
because the book's going to stop somewhere with the professionals, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there was originally talk about having a party in the Reno. Now, I did chat with Sarah about that a few times. It came up in conversation, and it was this sort of, don't think it can happen. You know, it can't happen. There's not enough space. It's dangerous. You know,
but you know, she did marvellous though about that. She didn't challenge me.
No.
She waited.
She waited till you found that yourself.
Yeah, which is amazing.
That is amazing, and
that's proper amazing.
That is. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
And she was. You know, we talked about, you know, what will have to be said.
Yeah.
Who's going to say what?
Yeah.
Who's going to say what?
Yeah.
Bite that bullet.
Yeah. Because we know she's going to kick off, but she waited amazingly.
She waited, and actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how she knew, if she knew.
Yeah.
Or whether she just thought, let's wait and see.
I kept hoping, and then when I realised that most of the dance floor was pinned down by the pavement, and the slope was too shallow and it was too narrow. And you know, like it's like when you've got a party dress and it's not going to fit.
Yeah.
It was like that feeling. I kept thinking it'll fit. And then I remember walking home through the park and just going, it's not going to happen. I just have to. And I was a bit scared that the Reno people was going to kill me. You know, like, you promised we'd dance. And then they didn't even give a fuck. They just loved everything that had happened.
That did happen.
And all the process of everything. Nobody questioned anything about that.
No, but you set up a massive party on the top anyway.
Yeah.
So that was great. Which unfortunately I couldn't go to.
Oh, I wish you did come.
And I regret to this day that I didn't cancel things.
That's
a
great thing to say though.
I did, because that would have been all of it.
And it was magnificent. People are still talking about it. Just rubbing it in.
Yeah, I've heard.
With a great bonfire and everything.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Cleansing thing.
Yeah.
Fire.
No, it was
What did you burn?
I got it from the timber yard just on Upper Brook Street. After, you know, like having a panic attack about, we need wood, and then I just thought, I'll go and ask him, and he was lovely. He said, you can have, as long as you don't take the planks, you can have what you can see in the back.
Great.
Yeah. So we loaded up.
Yeah, but a fire, I mean, you know, that's a thing, a fire.
Absolutely.
That's a thing that communities do.
Another communal thing, another link back to the past.
That goes back to
the
beginning of fire.
No, exactly.
It does. People gather round a fire. Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah. And also when we was like, because the tent was really for dancing, you know, and being pissed and stoned and everything. And when you like needed a breather, you come out and just be like really chill by the fire and have this whole other experience of watching the fire. Yeah. With its light and all its dancing. Fires are great, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely. But it is a thing that humans do. It's a thing that people do. No, it's lovely. You always feel different. A barbecue changes the atmosphere, doesn't it? Because of that bit of coal and things. What do you think could have been done better?
I don't know. That was a question because you gave me some questions, didn't you? And I did try and think about them, but I haven't really thought about that because I don't know. I find that hard to answer. What could have been done better? I don't know. From
what you're saying now, and from what, because I did one with Myra.
Success to me. Sorry to interrupt.
No, sorry to interrupt you. It just was a great learning curve for all of us to learn to be together. Because Sarah had to learn to be with me. Like we're saying, you know, to let me come round, you know, I had to learn to be with Sarah. To learn, well, she's the expert here, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that must have been hard for you because that was so much your project.
At times.
You had to hand a big chunk of your project to somebody else, didn't you, to sort of run that part of it.
But she was so respectful.
Yeah.
She was absolutely so respectful. She ran the nuts and bolts. She didn't run the project. She didn't try to change anybody into anything they weren't. Yeah. You know, because we was laughing about 3 days in when she gave up the, what's it called when you tell everybody what to do in the morning? Initiation or something? There's a word. Induction?
You've not had your induction, you can't go on site.
So
because you have to be aware of the health and safety and not do silly things.
It's about 3 or 4 days in, it's like, well, they're not fucking listening anyway, do you know what I mean? Like, so she had to walk, we all had to give way to and trust that, you know, nobody broke the neck.
Exactly, that's quite a big thing because there are quite careful rules and, you know, health and safety things about it. So there had to be an eye kept on that to make sure it was okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without laying down the law in a sort of rigid fashion.
And burning out people's enthusiasm. You know, giving them half an hour in induction and then it's like,
what can I do now?
Yeah.
I was really enthusiastic now.
Now I've just wasted half an hour.
No, I'm getting in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it frightened me at the beginning, but it didn't take long for me to realise that it was all right.
And we're all adults.
Yeah.
As well. And then natural leaders within the actual dig emerged, didn't they? And natural people who actually like digging, people who like cleaning, people who liked artefacting.
And there were some people who've signed up with Salford to be on the database for more community digs.
Oh, brilliant.
There were a couple of people there who really loved it. I don't know. I'm not very good with remembering names.
I think it's Myra and Maggie. I think they both did. Probably Barry and Ivan.
Barry, I think Barry was one. Because he got a bald head. Yeah, him. He's lovely. And he was right into it.
Absolutely, wasn't he?
He was right into it.
Because he was going off to do things like have to take, I think it's his granddaughter to a hospital appointment and then saying, I'll see you tomorrow, but then coming back.
Yeah.
Loads of people with...
It's addictive archaeology, you do realise.
Yeah. Finding things, but being together in that, yeah. But that was the Reno though as well. It had that vibe of that's how the Reno got you be coming back.
Yeah.
To be with the people.
Yeah, that was amazing because that was the thing that happened there was all these people coming together.
Yeah.
People came from all over.
Yeah.
Like you said in your little interview that I think was it in your interview you said people came from other areas.
Absolutely.
Not of Manchester.
Oh yeah, at the time.
To the Reno.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah, because it was a place you could come.
Yeah.
And then again here, people came from all over.
Yeah.
Where they moved, they came back.
Oh,
Didn't they? They came back to see, to find it,
and
meet
to be with friends they've not been with for 30, 40 years, some of them.
That's really a big thing, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
That's what I was going to say. This is dead poetic. It was like a dance, wasn't it? You know, us all finding our place and kind of moving around each other. Because there were some people like Ian and a couple of people, I don't know the name, archaeology, and they never spoke to me, I never spoke to them. And they seriously came to dig.
Yeah, yeah.
But dig. Do you know what I mean? And then at lunchtime when some food had come and then like say Susie Musa or Dion had offer the food and then they'd accept them and then that would change their vibe as well. Yeah. You know,
that
and
interaction.
That interaction.
But sharing food again, I've said that a few times, but I think that's an important thing in life, you know. If you go travelling, people invite you in, they offer you food. That's an important thing that people do. That's lovely, that. The food was great as well.
Some of the food was delicious.
Very nice. Very nice. Kept us going on a cold day.
And it was lovely when Susie was our canteen mum, it was lovely to we've got people bringing in random and water and things, but to know that our lunch would be ready was lovely. Yeah. You know, our mum's coming with our lunch. Yeah. It was dead lovely, wasn't it?
It was, because I remember, because I brought sandwiches a couple of days and then I realised that food was coming. Yeah. It was for everybody. And what a great thing that was.
Yeah. It was lovely. And we get shouted at a bit because the canteen cabin was a mess.
Oh,
you know, like your mum does. Yeah.
People get going in and sorting it out.
Yeah. That was Dion and Susie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. So were they people who went in the Reno?
I think Dion's slightly too young, but her mum and dad did. But Susie did. Yeah.
And it was nice seeing younger generations, wasn't it? Their kids and little ones.
Oh, it was lovely, wasn't it? Yeah. And there was loads of generations at the marquee part.
Were there?
Yeah, there was loads of, like teenagers and things. And yeah.
That's good. What's happening to the ground?
It's gone, it's cleared up.
No, it's cleared.
Oh, I don't know. They said they were developing it, but I've no idea. I don't think,
because I did have a look at the time to see if I could see any imminent development. I couldn't see
no, because you can't find any plans for any. But that was when they kept saying no, that's what they kept threatening.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to be developed. I asked Sarah about that and she said she didn't think it was imminently going to be developed because they look into all that stuff as part of the desk-based assessment of the thing. Yeah. So what's happening next?
Oh, go on. I was going to say, what's your last word? It's another big project. Again with the Reno, you're more than welcome to be part of it. I would love you to, because we all kind of should stay together now and keep on working together and keep building on. Keep building on the website. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm putting it all there. But it's a bit top secret at the minute because I'm waiting for a massive arts organisation to fully commit. Okay. But once they do, but it's big and it's going to happen.
Good.
Yeah.
The more the better.
Yeah.
You got to keep these things going.
No, exactly.
You started something and you have to keep it going, don't you?
Because it's just as lovely to be physically doing something and to have that.
Actually,
Yeah,
that is good for. It's good for the soul. It's good for the body and mind and your soul to be doing hard work.
It was great.
Working together with people. It is good.
And getting to know people, like getting to know you today, like having these hours that we've had before anything to do with this is just great.
I remember you saying when I was there, maybe the first time we met on site at the Reno, and you said we remembered each other, and you said we'll keep meeting now.
Oh.
And I thought that's really nice, and I'm sure we will.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Yeah, it's great. So my last words probably are thanks for letting me take part in that, because I loved it. I really loved it. Yeah, it sparked a lot of thought in me as well. But I loved it, and I loved all the people that I met there.
What thought did it spark in you about you, Margaret? Nothing to do with us.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm proud of what I did there.
You should.
The little bit that I did. I feel like I made a little contribution there, but it was. I'm proud to have done that as part of it.
No, but you should.
And I like being involved with all the people. and feeling that I could connect with a whole range of different people. I like that.
Yeah.
Because that's something I love people. I just do.
There's a great picture of you and Alcina just outside the cabin. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's
you both, you're both like that. It's just great, you know. But that's a great indication about how you felt, though.
Yeah, we relaxed.
Yeah,
relaxed. At
relaxed.
lunchtime, and chatting and laughing. And
yeah.
I can't remember not enjoying anything there. I enjoyed it all.
We're ending now. Go on.
No, we were lucky with it. It wasn't chucking it down. The days I went, I think on the open day I came down briefly in the morning and the weather wasn't great, was it?
No, it was terrible. That was the only really, really bad day. Because the other days we'd have like a bucket down and then it would get sunny.
Yeah.
But that was the only day that it was kind of like a bit Arctic, you know, like with driving rain and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that morning and I was going somewhere else that afternoon. Some other open day or something, I think. But I just popped down in the morning because I couldn't not.
Oh, see, that's wonderful. I love that. I love that.
It's funny because I now feel connected to the Reno.
But you are connected to the Reno.
That's really weird though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't before, really.
No, but what I felt, what I came away with was that we actually recreated the Reno. Not just that we dug it up, the feeling, the vibe, you know, in the area at that time was the Reno. So you have been to the Reno. So's John, so's Kirsty,
we're all part of it.
Do you know what I mean? He's all part of the vibe.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at that over there. Is that a heron on that roof?
I've no idea. Right, we're done, girl. Go on, are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right then. Thank you.